Tell you what, golf is made up. We play golf, it takes 3.5, 4, maybe 5 hours sometimes. And the athleticism of golf is wrapped up in 1 minute. So golf's not a game of perfect. Dr. Rotella said that years ago, great golf sports psychologist. It's your game, it's your physicality. You make the choice before you hit the shot. 1 of 3 outcomes, you can live with it. So in my camp, yeah, there's technique. We show you technique, but we show you how to walk into a golf shot, how to acquaint yourself with a golf club, how to be your best athlete and perform. So it's funny, how my campers come into the studio to start a golf camp, or when I'm on the road, we just do it on the range. And so I'll say, I'll look around quizzically, I'll say, so what makes golf hard? And people will be standing there, and my campers look at me, and some people want to be a part of it, and they'll say, well, there's uneven lies, and it's lack of inconsistency, or the weather, or whatever. And I'll say, well, you're going to make 30 to 42, 45 swings tops. My goal is to make you to where you make less of those. But those are 1-second events, 1 second. The average tour player, John Rahm, 0.86. Rory McIlroy, 1.06. If you're really slow, 1.2 seconds. So if you make 30, 35 swings, that's less than a second. So think about it. If we all tee off at 8 o'clock and we hit good drives, we walk down the fairway, we don't hit a second shot till 5 minutes later. And then you've got to be prepared for that. You've got to reacquaint yourself with a golf club that maybe you didn't warm up with. So there's a way to do that. There's a way to say, oh, that's an 8-iron. Okay, how do I waggle that in my hands? How do I build familiarity with that club, that weight at the end of that stick? How do I make a little practice swing to get my body ready to go for that 1 second performance that you have to make 30 to 40 times in a round of golf? Every shot's going to have 1 of 3 outcomes, and you got to be mature enough and disciplined enough to deal with 1 of 3 outcomes. Good, bad, or indifferent. Nobody dies. Nobody dies from a golf shot. Now you might feel inside, you're a little afraid of the shot, you can't do it, but you're going to get 1 of 3 outcomes. And trust me, if I had a series of indifference during the whole day of golf, I'm happy. Sprinkle a good shot or 2 in there, that's okay. You're going to hit bad shots. Now, if you're disciplined enough, mature enough to handle that, I always say to people, I'm never upset if I hit a bad shot. I'm upset if I hit a bad shot before I actually hit it. Meaning, if my plan is solid and I walk into the shot with a purpose and a plan, and the outcome's not what I want, I'm not disappointed. But if I walk into the shot and I'm not really settled with my plan and I hit it, that's when I'm disappointed. So it's really all about what you do prior to the shot, your commitment level to that shot, and then you're going to get 1 of 3 outcomes. You can live with it, believe me. It might be disappointing, or it might be the skinny little tumbler that rolls on the green and it's an awful shot, and guess what? Hits the pin and goes in. That happens too. So I always tell people, I say, golf will strip you bare. I played professional golf for a few years after college. I was playing in the Canadian Masters, which was a very big tournament in Southern Ontario. It was part of the Canadian Tour. I want to say Mike Weir won it that year. I was paired with a really good player, a South African guy. And seeing as I was from Toronto area, I had a pretty good crowd surrounding the first tee, and it was a shorter par 4. So it was a 3-wood layup, maybe hit it 240, 250, then because it necked up to at that distance, and there was an iron shot to the green. I want to say pitching wedge 9-iron. So I stood up, they call my name, I kind of do a little wave to I'm nervous, but I love that feeling. Well, you learn to love that feeling. I stepped up and I hit a 3-wood right in the heel, topped it into the wet rough. It went 60 yards off the tee. So you can imagine like from the crowd, and there I was. And then the pro looked at me kind of oddly, Roger was his name. He stepped up, hit a beautiful 3-wood, and I was like, sorry to put that in your head when we were walking off the first tee. He just laughed. Here's the funny thing. I hit an iron shot down by where his 3-wood landed. I was up first. I hit 9-iron about 15 feet, and I made par. He hit it about, I don't know, just inside me. He missed. We both made par. So you can reframe any situation on the golf course. It's not the end of the world. You're going to miss. That's okay. How do you reframe that situation for an optimistic outcome? And so every shot, they say golf's 1 shot at a time. It most absolutely is, and it's such a cliche, but that's a fact. I mean, you're the next shot. The most important shot is the next one. And if you can get past that and get past the internal stuff in your head about explaining your day. I remember when I was a junior golfer, if I got off to a bad start, I would be in my head explaining my round to my father or my uncle or my peers, why I was playing poorly. And so there was a moment when I just said, man, you're just wasting time mentally. Just stay with the program. Just do your best every single time. And that means just make a good choice, do your routine, see what the outcome is. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. That's okay. And I always say I'm incapable of being embarrassed because golf has done that to me. And it's okay to be that way. It's okay to hit bad shots and just be like, well, that was a bad one. Let's see what we got next. And it's funny when people come to golf camps, they're used to me playing at a really high level. They see, the demonstrations and things, and I still play pretty good golf. But I'll hit bad shots. But here's the thing. I have the supporting skills to survive the bad shot. If I miss a green in a deep bunker, I can get it out in 2-putt or maybe 1-putt. If I hit it in a funny spot around the golf course, I can hit a tricky little punchy fade to the front of the green, get it up and down. So I try to tell people those bad shots are an opportunity to have a lot of fun, because nothing would be more boring, nothing, than if we just hit it down the middle and hit it on the green and 2-putted every hole. We would quit the game. The game wouldn't be relative because it wouldn't be exciting. Now, trust me, I don't want to be that exciting that it's crazy for you every time you play, but you got to look at those opportunities when you hit it in the stuff that's not so great. Say, ooh, I got this. I can hit this little punchy cut up there and trundle it to the front of the green, maybe chip it on, make my bogey and move on, or maybe chip it on and make that par putt. That is fun. So hitting the wild shots, people don't like it, but it's actually an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to be creative and for you to use those playful skills. I've had a few dark moments in golf. I'm going to take you back to freshman year, New Mexico State. So you're a good junior golfer. Coaches are interested in you playing on the golf team at their place. I went on a few visits, mostly in the Southwest. New Mexico State, 1988, freshman college golfer. Everybody's welcoming, coach is great, but let me tell you what, it's a rite of passage to be a freshman, to make and stay on a golf team. They want you there, but the seniors and juniors, as nice as they are, trust me, they don't want a freshman beating them. So I show up, I'm doing my thing, we have qualifying, I don't play very well, I continue not to play very well. There was a moment there around Thanksgiving where I literally think I'm packing up and going back to Toronto. Like, this isn't going to work out for me, even though I was a successful junior golfer. The kids that were a few years older were more used to the college scene, had already been there, done that. And what you don't realize is that most kids that go play college golf, a bunch of them just fall by the wayside because they can't handle it. So I had to have a little serious talk with myself. Like, hey, you can do this, buck up, just play your game, suck it up. And eventually, later that fall, I kind of get into the rhythm. I didn't make a trip though. Got into the rhythm, started playing a little bit better. Went back for Christmas, kind of got motivated, back to the snow and ice. Came back to New Mexico State, practiced, and I started to have a little breakthrough with my scoring, and I started to beat the kids, and I started qualifying for tournaments, because you got to be in the top 5 to even travel in college, and there's always 8 to 12 kids in a college golf team. So you have to have that survival mindset that you can do that. And then eventually my game I started to become more comfortable, started to play decently. But I'll tell you what, I was that close to packing it up, tail between my legs, heading back to Toronto. And so that was a really tricky time, because it's something you build up your whole junior golf career for. You make a choice to go play college golf, you get recruited by a coach, you show up, you're disappointing him because you're not playing well, you're disappointing your family because you're not playing well. You got this crazy opportunity that it's going to blow up in your face, and you're going to go back to Toronto, where I'm from, and explain to everybody how you didn't make it. That would have sucked. And so I just had to kind of calm myself down and organize my thoughts and let my scores kind of happen. And gratefully, through a little peace of mind and stick-to-itiveness, it worked out for me. It's cool. There's certain moments, and everybody has them, and it doesn't matter if it's like your men's club Thursday game, your ladies' day, it doesn't matter. One experience that sticks with me, I was an intern at El Paso Country Club, and I just signed up for the Canadian Tour qualifier, and I was playing good golf. And it was at a course back in Toronto, and it was in the fall, and it was crazy cold. And I'd played nicely the first couple of rounds. And then the third round, I shot 78 or something, put myself back on the bubble. And I'll never forget that night, going home, playing poorly, being on the bubble, freaking out that I just flew from El Paso back to Toronto, my hometown. My buddy's caddying for me. I have some friends watching this qualifier with random people from around the world trying to qualify for the Canadian Tour back in the day. And I get to this point, there's the last 4 holes, I'll never forget. Really cold outside, course playing really long, really hard, good golf course. I've got a couple critical shots. One of them is my caddy's telling me to lay up. I'm like 225, a little into the wind. Back then, this is back when the ball didn't fly 9 miles, and I had to take the head cover off a 3-wood. It was one of those pond in front of the green, trees left, bunker right, tiny, and I just said, give me the 3-wood. Sounds like a moment of the movies. But it was a moment where I'm like, I got to hit this shot. And I had belief. Don't think I wasn't nervous, dying. I was throwing up. But I just trusted my routine, hit a really solid shot in the middle of the green, 2-putted. And that was a huge moment. 18th tee. I survived the 16th and 17th holes with pars. The guy rolls up. He's the volunteer scorer rules guy. Player in my group says, what's the number? I mean, what's going to, get the card? He goes, it looks like it's going to be -4. I'm like, that's my number. That's where I'm at right now. So it's a good solid par 4. It's one of the hardest holes in the golf course. A little climb up a hill to the clubhouse, a little dogleg left. Set up pretty good for me to hit a good drive down there. Now it's into the wind. It's cold. It's later in the afternoon. I've got 195-ish, and I'm going to hit a 4-iron to the middle of the green, just kind of a punchy, stingy one up there, just trying to get it on the green 2-putt and get out of there. That's my goal. Stand up to this shot. I hit it. I absolutely flush it. Now, the only problem is I pull it a little bit, but sometimes you get a break. The pin's back left. I hit it too hard. I hit it farther than I wanted to. I pulled it a little bit, and guess what it did? Right up beside the pin, like I knew what I was doing. But the actual fact is, I didn't know what I was doing. I was freaking out. I had mishit the shot only perfectly to the group of people with the interested players sitting around to see who was going to do what, to see if there was a playoff or whatever. So I had a mindless tap in. It was the most pleasing shot I've hit in that situation, because sometimes you get lucky, and lucky's okay. And in that moment, I embraced lucky. I missed my shot, but my shot wasn't a miss. It was perfect. It could have went down any other way. So I walk up, I tap in. Anyway, the number was -3. So I put myself into undue stress. I hit a shot that I didn't intend to hit, and I got very lucky on the shot that I hit. And so I'll never forget that situation. It always reminds me of, just stick to your plan, whether you get lucky or not. The outcome is what it's going to be, and in my case, that situation worked out for me. So it's interesting, why do people play golf? I think it's different for a lot of people. I think there's that moment that you flush a golf shot. You get this rush of this pure vibration. It's like human. You hit a golf ball in the middle of the face, and this amazing sensation washes over you, and that's like a drug. That's the drug of golf. And then for some, it's a social thing. They just want to play, and they just want to hang out with their friends, but they always get that amazing buzz from a solid shot. And then for others, it's more of an internal challenge. They look at it like I always say to people, listen, and it depends how you take this. I always say tournament golf is you're going to war, but you're not going to die. So when you go to war, you just know going in that you're about to go through the peaks and valleys of a day of tournament golf. And again, that could be ladies club, men's club, or I played professional golf. From the outside looking in, it looks like, the duck on the water for the most part. Every once in a while you see a high-level player lose his mind, but for the most part, they look pretty calm out there. But the reality is they're not. There's highs and lows and all kinds of emotions that surround it. Now, some people are built for that, some people aren't. And that's okay. But I think golf can be a lot of things to a lot of people. But it comes to that one shot you hit in the middle of the face that is the drug of golf. And people want more and more of that solid contact. I mean, to me, that's the one thing that I hear from every golfer, period. Once they hit one good one, they want a second good one. And then if they get into the rhythm of that, they develop as a golfer, and to where they take it, whether it's social or competitive social, some blend of the two, it always comes back to that thing, that sweet centered strike that they love. And when you get that, you want more of it. So you have the golfer, they hit the solid shot, then that's the hook. They love it. Maybe it's at a driving range somewhere with their family friend or their father. And I tell you what, if you said to me, who is your famous foursome? Who would you want to play with? It's always family. I always want to have those memories from back in the day with my family. It's emotional to me. But when you hit a shot and it feels great out the face, and then you look up and you go, what's that outcome? There's that moment. It's 4 or 5 seconds, the ball can be in the air. Shorter shots maybe less. But that like what's gonna happen? Is it gonna be as stiff as it looks? Then you get that feel, okay, that's short, that's long. Man, that is like, takes the beginning golfer from that contact to this emotional relationship with the game that is like no other game. And it's crazy, and it looks harmless from the onlooker. They don't even get it. But when you as a golfer can hit it solid, and then the outcomes kind of match up with what you're trying to do, nothing better than that. It's funny, the evolution of the game for people, contact, self-belief, and then it gets to a state, and this is the state golfers want to be in. They call it the zone. That's fine. Zone's fine. When you have belief that you can walk up to a golf ball, aim the face, look at a target, and know in your heart, this is the key, that you're going to hit a solid shot. And then you've got some level of command over the golf ball. That's unbelievable, because most people don't. And that's what I'm trying to give people, the understanding of how to be their best self as a golfer, to walk in and have a level of command. Because when you have that contact, and then you also know that the way you physically move a golf ball is going to create an outcome that's predictable. A predictable outcome is the most amazing feeling. I can be in the middle of a fairway, staring at a water over a pond, and I can have 165 yards to a railway tie, and the pin can be at 175 yards. And I have a serious amount of belief that the history I'm about to draw upon, the feels that I've developed in my game that I teach to my students, they can pull a piece of history from success for themselves. They can therefore move a golf club in a rhythm that they can remember. They can have a contact that feels correct because they've built the history for that. And then they have trust in the outcome. When you have a great player hit a shot that doesn't go the way it was intended, it's almost more of a surprise for them, because they believe in the history of their practice, and the outcome is something that is all but guaranteed in their mind. And so when the outcome doesn't work out for them, it's almost like that's crazy, how was that not a great shot? Whereas the student doesn't have the history, and they've got to learn to choose and build that history. So when they're presented with shots, they select one. Hey, this is a pitch shot over a bunker. Well, I've done that a million times. This is what it felt like in the past. I'm going to wash myself with that history. That's what it feels like. There's the shot. The outcome's pretty darn good. Okay, good. I'll take that. But if you haven't built that, you don't have the history. Therefore, you don't have the outcomes. And so when you start to have that level of command over a golf ball, that is really cool. So over a golf ball, you know, people say to me, Martin, where do you look? And I'll say I'm generally looking down, not really focusing on a ball. I see a white thing on green grass, and I can feel the weight of the club waggle in my hands. And in my head, I can see a target off in the distance. So really, I'm kind of looking down, but my internal eye is looking kind of where I want the ball to go. And I already know what it feels like to hit a good shot. So it's like I'm ahead of myself, like a soloist playing a musical instrument. They know where they're going to go with this thing. And the club swings, and there's a contact. And the feel is typically as expected, typically. And so the first second you pick it up in flight, it starts to take off its trajectory. And as it's starting to climb, then you start to calculate with your eyes. You toggle to the ball, to the flag, to the ball, to the flag. Ball reaches its apex, and you know within a couple seconds, ooh, this is going to be good. Or you're talking to it a little bit, hey, get up, or whoa, it's too much, or sit. those kind of things. So while the ball's in the air, you kind of know. And then sometimes you're just like, whoa, this is going to be good. And the ball starts to crest and starts to work down in its descent. And that's when you kind of know, like, you did exactly what you wanted to do. The timing of everything is something you've lived with in the past, and you've just done it. And that, to me, is an amazing feeling. And it's just a moment in time that you want to capture and be able to repeat. And it's something people can do when they have the right intent, a little bit of technique, and a little bit of belief. I like to tell students, I'm not your club pro. Your club pro is there to make sure you have a great time at your country club. That's his job. I was a club pro. It's a tough situation to coach a golfer and be a club pro, because you know what? Coaches aren't placaters. They tell it how it is. If you have a root flaw in your golf swing, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's easy for a coach to see that. Your face is open, it's closed, your cadence is off, your grip is poor, you don't aim correctly. Easy stuff. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a systematic way to fix that. And I'm going to give you homework so that you can fix that, because ultimately, you have to be your own best coach. I'm just there as a mentor for you. I help you work through yourself and how you physically can move the golf club so you can play your best golf. So I'm your coach. I'm your mentor. I'm going to give you a systematic way to help things, but ultimately, you've got to make the golf swings. You've got to believe in yourself. And that's something we work together on. And once you start to understand those few basic things, you're going to play way better golf. And here's the thing. I may not be nice to you about it because I believe in you, and I tell it to all my students. I believe you can get way better. But there's a little bit of work involved for me and for you. So let's do it together. And it doesn't matter your age, your physical limitations. I could care less. I can help you get the club on the ball better, to have that sweet feeling of centered strikes. That's what people want. Take responsibility for your action. I will help you through it. I guarantee you're going to get better. That's easy. You've got to be your best golfer. I'll be your coach and mentor. My team and the great coaches that are a part of the Performance Golf Network are the best in the business. You're going to have more fun. You're going to hit a lot of great shots, and we're going to teach you how to believe in your swing. 174,000 golfers have watched the Simple Strike sequence. The Simple Strike sequence, I'm not going to lie, that's what the marketing team called it. You know what it is? It's really my life's work on helping golfers get better. The basics of how the hands go on the club, how you develop rhythm in a swing, how you find the correct low point, touching the ball, then brushing the grass. 174,000 golfers have gotten better at golf, which is an unbelievable feeling for a coach. And so if you work the program, take the steps, make it your own, watch the lessons. I don't expect you to do it exactly how I say. I expect you to do it exactly how you can do it. There's nothing in there that you can't do. The Simple Strike sequence has been the most successful digital program in decades, and it's going to help you play better golf. So I know it's hard to get to a golf school. I get it. It's expensive. You got to get away from family. It's a hard thing to do. That's why, like, the Simple Strike sequence was a few days of filming on everything we do at the Tour Striker Golf Academy and all the coaches that we mentor, and we share the information with the performance golf coaches. I mean, ultimately, every performance golf coach, myself and the great ones on the team, we care about your game. And so whether you can get out to see one of us at a golf camp, great. Or if you get into one of the programs from one of our amazing coaching team, amazing, do it. Now, I would say watch the content. Go through step by step and check off the videos. Watch them a few times. Make sure you understand that. Because here's the thing, I watch something once, I watch it twice, 3 times, I pick up something different every single time. So in the performance golf programs, watch the coaches. Everybody on the team cares about your golf game, helping you get better. Watch the videos more than once. You will pick up a nuance. If you can come to a golf camp, fantastic. Somebody from the team will reach out to you, see if it's a fit for you, see if it fits into your lifestyle and your calendar. I know everybody's busy, but we would love to have you share that golf camp experience with us if you can do it. If you can't, the videos from our coaching platform are fantastic. I love watching the other coaches coach. They're great, and I'm thrilled that the Simple Strike, my program, has been so successful. So watch the videos, watch them more than once. You're gonna pick up some great nuggets that are gonna help you play better golf. You know, I've been doing lessons and coaching for 40 years of my life. Crazy looking back on it. And been doing these golf camps full time now for 15 years. And my coaching team with me has been with me pretty much that whole time. They're amazing. And people say to me, don't you get bored doing this every week? I say, absolutely not. You know what's amazing is that I have a whole new group of humans in front of me every week. Different personalities, different walks of life, different histories. It's amazing. And the satisfaction I get when the light bulb goes on and they get it, that is such a buzz for me, more so than me even playing golf nowadays. Like when somebody gets it, and they do, that is like my drug now, to see somebody flush a shot and then flush another and feel like, oh my gosh, I get it. Or maybe they struggled pitching the golf ball. Part of their game was fine, but they couldn't pitch it 20, 40, 60 yards and feel confident in their ability. Or maybe I helped them get past the first tee jitters, or feel like they had some command getting out of the bunkers. Like, it's not that hard. But if you have those roadblocks and I help you break through those blocks, that is a buzz for my coaching team and I. Like, we have so much fun high-fiving and having a blast because I know when you get it, and that's super fun for me and my team and the whole performance golf coaching team. That's the buzz for us. We love it when you finally get command over that thing that you never felt like you could. And that's what we love to do. My dad and I used to go to something called Golfatron when I was a kid. So in Canada, half the year it's snowy and cold, and so there was an indoor simulator company. And there was a little hang tag for a golf camp in the summertime. So I was such a keener, I took the little tag and I asked my father if I could go to the golf camp. And we didn't have a lot of money, and I knew my dad had to, this was a big deal, and he signed me up for the camp, and my little cousin went with me. So it was a town north of Toronto, Simcoe, Ontario, for anybody that knows that geography. So I go to the camp, and there's a very nice teaching pro, Arnold Weiss, and his assistant, and the assistant was very young, and Arnold, I'm sure he's not with us anymore. But it was a great experience, so much fun with the kids, learning, having fun, playing golf. And the key to that whole environment was the playful atmosphere of it. Well, one day I'm sitting having lunch with the group, and this fella gets shooed out of the kitchen. The double doors swing open, and this guy is getting run out of there by a lady who's angry that he's in the kitchen. And I'm like looking at this situation going, what was that? Well, the helper, the assistant's like, oh, that's Mon Norman. He's the best ball striker that's ever lived. I'm like, there's no way the guy that just got shooed out of this kitchen in this little grill room in this small course north of Toronto is the best ball striker that ever lived. You know, 8-year-old Marty or 9-year-old Marty at the time could tell you that's not the case. Jack Nicklaus was, because I'm thinking to myself, there's no way. Anyway, the camp runs its course. It's Friday. The main instructor, Arnold, says we got a special treat for everybody. Mon Norman's going to hit balls for us. Now, while we were doing our thing, practicing and training, on the far side of the driving range, the whole time we were there, this fella was there by himself, hitting golf balls the other way. And I could see one person at the far end of this distal range that was way away from the clubhouse. So on the Friday, on the pickup day with the parents, because it was a sleepover camp, we didn't drive out to that range in our rickety people mover thing. We went right to the first tee. It's later in the afternoon. The main guy drops down some range balls. There's Mon Norman, disheveled, sweaty turtleneck on a warm summer's day, long pants. We're all in golf shirts and shorts, and he's got his hairs kind of cockeyed and his ragtag bag of golf clubs, and he had really thick grips, and you could just tell this guy was hard scrabble. He hit a shot, and right away I'm like, that was different. It was a contact I'd never heard before. because my dad didn't do that, and my uncle didn't do that, and that was my experiences in golf. Now, the assistants in the pro that helped in the golf camp, they were pretty good, but they didn't do that either. And so then he hit another shot, and it was a contact and compression that my ear knew was different. So I'm standing there, and he's hitting these shots, and they are collecting in the fairway. You could go throw a blanket over where these golf balls were landing. In fact, we had to run out and get the golf balls, and it was the easiest shag situation you can imagine. Now, he's hitting every single shot exactly where he says he's going to hit these golf balls, and the sound and compression on these was like unbelievable. And that was my first time I'd met Mon Norman, and I'm not sure why or how, but he was like, he enjoyed performing in front of people, and he especially loved it when kids were interested in his performance. And he would practice at a range in Toronto, not too far from where I lived. And whenever word got out that he was going to be there, I'd ask my father if it worked out in my dad's calendar that we could go there. And that's where Mo and I sort of became acquaintances and friends. And it was just like he did something that nobody else could do as far as ball control. It was unbelievable. It was quirky. He had his own way about doing things. And that's the beautiful thing about golf. It's not, you don't have to be a robot. Mo wasn't. He hit a golf ball probably like a robot, but he had his own golf swing that was highly repetitive. And he had his quirky way of talking, and he socially was, he would struggle with certain types of personalities. He couldn't sit and have lunch with you. But if he had a basket of golf balls and his clubs in hand, he was the most comfortable human there was, going on doing a demonstration, hitting golf shots unlike anybody else. Because people say, oh, Mon Norman didn't play on the PGA Tour. I'd say, yeah, but the guy also had some serious personality issues that didn't lend themselves to the lights and the glamour of what the PGA Tour would be. But nobody hit a golf ball like Mon Norman. It was unbelievable. So my experiences with him from that first time at the camp until he eventually passed away was remarkable. And for those watching, if you want a cool video, look up Martin Chuck, Mon Norman on YouTube. And it was the last time I got to spend time with him. I recorded this session. It was a great time in Toronto, Ontario, with some golfers I brought from the US to have some fun with me in Canada. And you'll see Mo go on his rant and have fun being Mo, because it was like nothing you've ever seen. And the golfers that I brought out and set up this situation for them to watch Mo, they couldn't believe it either. My neighbor and my best friend, his father said to me, his father said, hey, did you know, because my neighbor's dad knew I was just a golf junkie keener from the time he met me when I was 9, said, hey, George Nudson's doing a junior clinic at Don Valley Golf Club in Toronto. And so my dad looked at it and said, yeah, it's on the weekend, we can do that. So I show up, and there's not many juniors there, but there's George, and there's something about the guy. He had an aura. He was awesome. Natalie attired, and there's maybe 6 or 7 kids there. It was a shame. There should have been hundreds. And so there wasn't a driving range, and George had these little half clubs that we would all hold, and he went through his beliefs and how to swing the weight of a golf club. It's a phrase I use all the time, every time I coach. Swing the weight of the golf club in a rhythm from a starting form to a finishing form. And I'm telling you, that's from that day. So when I was a little kid at Don Valley Golf Club, my first experience with this Canadian legend was also something very cool, because I got to go to a couple of these free clinics. Then on my 10th birthday, my dad surprises me with an actual lesson with George Nudson at the course where he trained, or he taught and played at, which was called the National Golf Club of Canada, which was northwest of Toronto in a town called Woodbridge. So we set up this lesson day. I show up. It's me, 10-year-old. It's a Canadian tour player named Gar Hamilton, who at the time had his PGA Tour card. And it's this third fella who got immediately called away for business. So there's George Nudson, Canadian legend in his 40s. There's Gar Hamilton, a high-level player playing on the PGA Tour, and me, 10 years old. So we go to the back of the range, and it is from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. You want to talk about blisters? I earned a ton of them that day. And it was amazing to watch the tour player hit balls, to get the insights from George, for me to be welcomed and included in every bit of that day with George Nudson. The end of the day rolls around, 3 o'clock. My dad rolls up. Hey, how do you do? Did you do okay? George says to me, your son's welcome back anytime for free. So, certain things like that changed life, changed mine that day, because that, my dad was proud. I was thrilled. And then I knew that I'd impressed him. Not that I was working on that. I just was enamored with the game and wanted to do really well. And for that moment, I try to do the same thing now. When I have an awesome junior that works their tail off, that's tuned in, I do the same thing. I just call it scholarshiping a junior. Because, I'm in a place where golf, it was expensive for my dad to do that for me. It's expensive for somebody to come see me now. And so when I have a kid that's tuned in, locked in, and I have an opportunity to kind of pay that forward, if there's a cancellation and there's a spot, bring in that youngster that was locked in, tuned in. One of them works for me now. He started when he was 14. He did such an awesome job. I told his dad, hey, he's comp next time. I'll let you know if I have a spot. Sure enough, he came back to Arizona a couple times. Stayed at the house. He's now one of my lead coaches. He has a nice career in the game after playing college golf on a scholarship, playing a little professional golf. And that was the reason I did that. It was because of George Nudson when I was 10.